I'll let you know, and then I'll just edit this part out. Oh, I'm so happy about today. Let's see if we can. It's the technology part, right? That's the.
Yeah, take your time. I understand it perfectly.
I'm going to make sure that we are live. Destinations, YouTube. Yes, it says we're connected. Are we connected? Live. I think we are. Oh, we're live. It worked.
Amazing.
Yes, I know. Oh my goodness. You never know. You never know. Okay. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in this podcast. So today we're talking about flamenco's footprints, the inspiration in FatChanceBellyDance Style, but also just diving into a lot of the history and the culture of flamenco. So my name is DeAnna. For those of you that I haven't met yet, it's really nice to be here with you all. And I am really, really just honored and grateful to introduce our guest, Haima. Hello, Haima. Joining us from Madrid. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. But before, I thought I'd share a little bit that I thought was pretty cool. So Haima is located in Madrid. In 18, she enrolled in the professional flamenco school Marta de la Vega. Hopefully, I'm saying that correctly. Yes, my little bit of Cuban accent comes out sometimes. And she got her first and second year of, is it ACADE, ACADE? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then of course, you went on to study. You're a teacher, so you went on to study. Your teaching in your primary educator, your primary elementary school teaching. She's also a certified instructor for FCBD style, as well as a yoga instructor and a dance therapist.
Yeah.
So really, really happy that you're here. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I want to say thank you for that beautiful introduction, and I just would like to add that I consider myself as a learner. I mean, you know that body and dance always have something else to discover, and that's the point that I think that I love the most, no? Because I consider myself as a pupil always in all the things that you have said before. I continue learning and studying and reading, and that's wonderful.
Yes, I love that. And I find that the continuous learning also helps us just find new passions in the things that we're so excited about. And so of course, we've had conversations in the past. We met through Zoom and kind of prepared for the podcast. And I was really, really excited about the passion that you share in your dance styles, all of them that you do, and also the way that they are ultimately all connected, which we'll get into shortly. So before we get into the details of our podcast, I want to welcome everyone. So those of you that are joining us on YouTube live, hello. I will be checking in with the comments. So as we go, say hello. Feel free to add in any questions that you might have. And also we'll be sharing more information at the end of the podcast about ways that you can dive into more of the flamenco inspirations within FatChanceBellyDance Style. We have some free resources coming out. We have a free flow with Haima. We also have a wonderful workshop coming out next week. So stay tuned for some of that information. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we?
Yes. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Do it. Let's do
So,
it.
well, the first thing that we were talking about, and we think or we thought that it was a great thing to share, it was the flamenco history, no, or the roots, no. So if you think it's a nice option, we can
Yes,
start.
please. That would be the great place to start.
Right. So, first of all, I would like to start with the linguistic root of the word flamenco, no, because it's amazing, and it comes from the Arab, the Moorish Arab. It got two different words in flamenco, in the main word, that is falah from the Arab and menko. Falah means peasant means the people who's working in the countryside, or the people who's living there. And menku is beautiful because it's when someone steals material things, but also the non-material things. I mean, your identity. So flamenco would be the definition for that people who travel without identity. and,
Mm.
and we're very connected with the countryside, no? And the story of flamenco, well, there are a lot of theories, and I'm going to share or try to share some of them because they all are beautiful. And it starts many centuries ago in India, in the beautiful India. And a tribe or a community needs to travel away from there. Um, there are different theories about what's the reason why they started traveling. Some of them talk about hunger, and some of them talk about wars. But I'm not sure about that. I couldn't find yet, but I'll tell you if I. So they start traveling, finding their land, no, or a better place to live in. And the footprints could be divided into two different ways. One of them, or part of them, were through from Turkey, and then the north of Europe and Armenia and all the Balkan countries, France, and then England, and so on. And there is another way, or another pathway, that they did, coming from Turkey and then Egypt and then the north of Africa. And it got sense because we can find there different kind of gypsies. Actually, I need to say sorry because gypsy, it's a word that could offend some of them, but I'm using it with most of the respect for all that culture that I really admire. But we can find different kind of gypsies. In Egypt, for example, we can find Gawasis. In the north of Algeria, we can find the Ouled Nail, that it's a great tribe to investigate because it's amazing. The Singaris, no? So we've got different settles with different kind of gypsy or nomad people that they all have something in common, that they were very, very connected with arts. They dance a lot in community. It makes sense with our style. You are not gonna find, or it's not normal to find this kind of community just dancing alone, a person dancing alone. So they've got dances in community, and they grow up dancing in community. They also play a lot of instruments. They are musicians, and they were also artisans, craftsmen. I the
Yeah.
pronunciation of these words very difficult for me, but they were very connected also with the country and the animals, the countryside, and so on. So it we were talking before, and you can have a look at a beautiful film from Tony Gatliff. I think it's the main director. That it's Lacho Drum, where you can find this traveling, no, from India to Spain, and it's amazing because you're gonna see there the music, the folklore with funerals and christenings and weddings and dances, music, and it's amazing. I hardly recommend it if you are interested in that. It's beautiful. So the noun or the name of gypsies, there are theories that said that comes from Egypt. The word Egypt has the same root, and some people think that the denomination of gypsy could came from the group of people that passed through Egypt, and they were all this way. The ones who came from Egypt were gypsies. And it's beautiful as well because as they were traveling, of course, through generations, they were adapting different rhythms, different costumes, and different movements. But at the end, no, they were adding to their history different kind of movements that, of course, in our style, we can have them all. I mean, we have them all, actually. Because we can find the gratitude meditation that is similar or inspired by the el saludo, the greeting in Bharatanatyam, for example, no, and it's similar, kind of, no, but it's not the same. At the same time, it has something similar. So we can see in our style, in FatChanceBellyDance Style, also movements from the classical Oriental dance or classical belly dance with our hips and our chest and things like that. But it's not classical belly dance at the same time. Well, I'm gonna talk about this later. But now we continue the travel. Sorry because I I
I
start.
love it. Yeah, no, it's so beautiful.
But let's go back to the traveling from India. Let's arrive to Spain. As I told before, some theories said that people comes from the north, and it got sense because we can find a lot of gypsies in France, also in England. They were also connected with adivinatory arts, no, like tarots and things like that. So we've got a French tarot, the Tarot de Marsella, that it's very famous, no, and it's related with the traveling as well. Well, but let's arrive to Spain. So when they arrived to Spain, the theory that they come through the south, it got sense because they were settled in Andalusia, that it's a community in the south of Spain that I recommend you to travel to. If you don't know it, it's beautiful. And of course, DeAnna is gonna come in this summer, so you've got the perfect
I will
opportunity.
be there next week. I mean, next summer. I wish next week. I'll be there next summer. Come join me. Let's go on an Andalusia adventure together.
It's gonna be amazing, I'm sure. So when they arrived to Andalusia, there are some laws and some historical documents that appear in the let me do the count on my head. 1400, so it's 15th century. The 15th century, in that period we could find historical documents that talk about gypsies in Spain. But in that time, they took the Catholic kings took over. I mean, the kingdom in Spain were very rich because there were three cultures sharing and living together and coexisting, that they were the Jewish, the Arabs, and the Christians, and they were living together. You can travel also to Toledo, that it's a beautiful city in Spain where you can see the neighborhoods somehow, and you can imagine how beautiful it was to share, no, as we do in our style. So, but the things start changing because until that time, the gypsies were seen like different people with different culture, but they were accepted and they were admired because they've got a different way of life. They were traveling from one place to the other, and they were very connected with arts, and people love to see them. No, but in 1492, the things unfortunately change. Well, unfortunately or not, because now we are here, and who knows, no? But in 1492, the Catholic kings start to expel or to expelling people from our country, from Spain. And related to the gypsies, they've got two options: or they went away, or if they decide to stay, they need to settle down in a place. They were not allowed to travel anymore. So you can imagine, is part of their lives, no? Be traveling and being well. So from that moment, you can find documents that are a little bit hard because they talk about the punishments or the convictions for the gypsies that didn't accept this new law. And one of the heaviest punishment that they could get, it was being mm, being sent to galleys. That it's a kind of vessel, kind of a ship, a big ship, and they need to be, or they were rowing. No,
Mhm.
can you imagine? This? Horrible. And there is a famous, well, it's not alive, isn't anymore, but the name is El Lebrijano, that is a great singer, a flamenco singer, and he had some songs that tell that story about the flamenco punishment that they get, no, at that time.
Mm.
So in that moment, the gypsies were seen with not good eyes because they need to settle down, so they need to find a different way of living. And some people say that they started stealing, and so on. So uh, they really change all that image, no, or that period. They really changed the image of the gypsies because they were rejected, no, somehow. But we were talking before also about that, no. Sometimes the darkness, no, or living darkness in one period gave us time later bright moments, no, like flamenco music, for example, that started here because they started singing their sadness, their pain, and all that things that was happening to them at that time, no. So in the 16th century, we can find some romances that are oral tradition. They were poems that were telling about the things that they were suffering. And from the romances, it comes the corridos, that it's another kind of things or
Mhm.
poems, traditional. And then it comes the tonas. The tonas is gonna be like the first kind of flamenco style as we understand it right now. For example, here in Spain, we've got the Holy Week, La Semana Santa. No, I don't know if that's the correct translation, but we've got a famous week here in Spain, and the people come outside. Some persons come on the window and start singing to the oh sorry a la Virgen or Jesus Christ, or no, because there's people walking on the street, and they sing that kind of songs, very antique, that are called the saetas, no, where they express their feelings and their sadness, the pains, and so on. And after that, they come different kinds of music, like fandangos in the 18th century, and then it's very curious because in 19th century they appear what they call los cantes de ida y de vuelta, because the music as the dance start mixing from America to Spain. Because as you know, the Spaniards were traveling a lot to America and coming back, and not only in food and costumes and so on, they also bring back from America different rhythms that we still dance in them right now, like La Guajira, that comes from Cuba, actually, because
Mhm.
Guajiro is the people, the people who's working in the country. They are called Guajiros in Cuba. It's a style that you usually dance with fan or with manton. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful rhythm as well, guajira. But also came from America, the rumba, the colombianas, or the milongas that they were sharing with Argentina. No, so it's amazing how no, not only the music but also the way they were dancing. They were changing it, no, from India to America, passing through all Europe and North Africa, and then here in Spain. So I just like to add that flamenco, the style of that kind of dance, it was developed on the streets. In their families, they were dancing a rhythm and they were expressing themselves. We are going to talk about right now about the position and so on. But we were talking before, and it's so curious because how can be the flamenco being discovered or being created, no? And we were talking before that, for example, there are some theories that said that the typical movements of the hands in flamenco that are very characteristic, no, from flamenco comes actually from the mudras that they were doing in India. So can you imagine? We are dancing with our beautiful floreos, but I feel. I mean, look at my look at
Yes,
my.
same.
Because every time that we do a floreo, we are also connecting with that ancient India. It's magical somehow.
It is. And I know that you study yoga as well. And so we won't get into all of this, but every finger is a different element and different energies. And so just the movements that we do with our hands, you could just go down and learn more and more and more about what each little finger means and then really express that in your dance. It's amazing how it can
Yeah.
all be connected.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I would like to clarify that flamenco, I mean, in danza española, Spanish dance, we can find the flamenco that has all that history and transformation in the bodies and music and the way they dances and rhythms that we are going to talk about right now in a while. But we also consider Spaniard dance or danza española, la escuela bolera, or the classical, la danza española clásica. And we also have la danza estilizada, that it's another kind of danza española. And of course, the folklore. And in the folklore in Spain, can you imagine? We are a country where we can find a lot of dances everywhere you go. So in the folklore, you can find a jota, that it's a kind of dance, but also a muñeira in the north, or a sardana in the northeast, or rescu in the north of Spain, or the charros from Zamora, where my mother was born. So flamenco is one of the styles of the danza española, but we've got another kind of dances also considered Spaniard dance, not only the flamenco. And the flamenco from the 1970 more or less start growing up and being more and more famous, and somehow here in Spain we have forgotten that we also have escuela bolera that comes from the 18th century, that it's beautiful as well, so complex. But we've got different styles from flamenco is amazing. It's amazing for me. I love it. But we need to know that flamenco is a part of Spaniard dance, but we've got more kind of dance.
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's really important. When we were speaking with Nawara regarding Morocco, she and the dances, she was just saying it's Moroccan dances. It's not just one style of dance that's from Morocco. There's a whole bunch of different styles of dances for different tribes or different cultures or different parts of the countries, and they're all influenced from whatever was going on over history and over the time. And so the same, of course, like you're saying with Spain, there are so many more dances. So it's not just the dance of Spain is flamenco. It's no, flamenco is one of many.
Yeah, That's it. And sometimes we get confused with that because we associate Spain with flamenco, and that's all. But the jotas are amazing. If you see someone dancing a charro from Zamora, it's beautiful as well. So yeah, I invite you to come to Spain and have a look at all the beautiful dances that we've got, or improve with us in FatChanceBellyDance Style that you can dance everything in once. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Yay. So, of course, flamenco, as we understand flamenco, only flamenco, not the Spanish dance or Spanish dance, um, we've got different kind of music as well. Would you like we talk about that,
Yes,
DeAnna?
please. Yeah.
Here I go.
I'm like, tell me everything. And I'm monitoring the comments. So when I look away, I'm just checking
All
in. So hello, everyone, and welcome.
right. But you stop me because I start talking about dance, and my passion like drives me away. All right. So if we talk about rhythms, flamenco is wow, very rich. Is you can find a lot of rhythms or styles of, as we call it, palos. That it's
Vale.
stick palo, like a stick palo. I don't know that. It's a very interesting thing why they call it palos. Maybe because it was the way they mark the main rhythm. I don't know.
Oh,
It could
yeah.
be. No, because the origin in flamenco they use their voices and the, how do you say that, the noodles, no,
Knuckles?
the knuckles.
Yeah. It's a weird word. Knuckles.
Yeah. So you've got your voice and a rhythm, because the cajon flamenco came very very after in 1977. Can you imagine?
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, from Peru. It's not even from Spain. It comes from Peru when Paco de Lucia was traveling. Paco de Lucia, amazing as well. And he was traveling, and the drummer from his company discovered the Peruan, well, an instrument from Peru. And it was amazed by that, and then it brings it to Spain, and they start using it in flamenco. But originally it has a voice and rhythm, and they use also the guitar, of
Mhm.
course, the guitar, but nothing else. So maybe that's why they call it palos. I'm not sure about that. If you are over there and you know this answer, please share. Yeah. So we can find, for example, rhythms or beats or measures or meters. I don't know what's the best translation for the rhythms. Uh, we've got like fandango. Fandango is a 3 times meter, with the accent on the first one, for example. But in Fandango, we can find Fandangos de Huelva, Verdiales from Malaga, or Las Sevillanas from Sevilla.
Mhm.
It's a rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right?
Mhm.
Yep. And then we also have rhythms of four time rhythms as we use in our style. For example, the tangos, that the first, it has 4 times as well, and the first time is like up, like um, um, right? So it's four times, and it fit great with our finger symbol patterns, for example, because it comes in time of four. We've got tangos, but also tientos and rumbas, for example, with this kind of rhythm, 4 by 4. And for our steps are great, this kind of rhythms, because you can use your seals and you can dance the same steps as we do with another music, and it's a great challenge. And we also in flamenco could find a different beat that it's called amalgama, because it mixes different rhythms, like 3/4 and 6/8, for example, like soleá, alegría, bulería. That it would sound. Please, sorry if there is a musician and I'm doing awful. Please, sorry, I'm trying my best with the bulería, and it's something like that. The count is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. It sounds strange in
Oh,
English.
wow.
It would sound this way. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Depending on where is the accent or the speed, it's a soleá or it's an alegría or it's a bulería. And also depending on what you are telling. If it's a sad story or if it's a alegría, it's like happiness, the translation.
Mm.
So this could be, I mean, there are much more rhythms. So, but I think for having like an overview of all the richness of flamenco, we can we can have these three kind of different rhythms, no? Just not to be crazy with that, because it's here. But there are seguirillas as well, guajiras. There are a lot of beautiful rhythms. So, yeah, I encourage you to.
So were you just saying that different rhythms are used to express a different feeling, or were you saying like different accents within the rhythm are used to express a different feeling?
In the last one that we were talking before, for example, if you in the amalgama rhythms, bulería, it's like a little bit faster, and also commonly or it used to sing about feelings more like sadness that the
Mm.
alegría. The alegría has a slower rhythm, and normally the topics that you are sing with the alegría are a little bit happier, like the
Yeah.
seguidilla, no?
Okay. Yeah.
Not always, and nowadays you can find a bulería with electronic music, and of course nothing to see with the origin. No, now we've got great music, and I suppose that you all know Rosalia, for example, that use this kind of rhythms, and it has nothing to see the topics that she is talking about. Yeah, but yeah, at the beginning, each rhythm were used to express some kind of emotion. For example, las sevillanas, it's a dance. It's so funny as well because you learn four choreographies and then you dance it with someone. You can dance it in a circle, in front of, in a triangle, no, similar to our
Wow.
style.
Yeah.
You can play with the space and it's so funny, but you are dancing always the same. Of course you can dance it with fun, with manton, with footwork, no, that it's beautiful, and you are clapping the rhythm of sevillanas, for example. Yeah, but yeah, it's
So
amazing.
fascinating. I mean, there's so much richness. And of course, that's going to be the case considering the schooling that goes into like a going to school for flamenco. It's like what, 5 years or something, I think you were saying. And you're
Yeah.
just like learning all of this rich history. So thank you so much for summarizing it all for us. Because I can't imagine your brain is like, oh, there's so much more
Yeah.
I want.
I try my best, and if I commit any mistake, please sorry. But I try my best. Yeah, there are a lot of information because this is a huge style, and I know that you've got an interesting meeting on the 15th. No,
Yeah.
so I suppose that you are going to talk about that or not, but it's going to be so interesting as well because probably there are a lot of things that I'm missing out and that they are important as well. No, but
It's
yeah,
always good to revisit things as well. So even if something is shared again on the 15th in the workshop with Sarah Jimenez, then it's just that more enriching. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, of course. Yeah. And what else? What else? Because I've got a lot of notes here to talk about, and don't miss any second. Yeah. We can talk about the movement because we have
Yes,
talked
that
about.
would be great. Yeah, so we've looked at history. So if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome. I'm here with Haima, and we are talking about all things flamenco footprints within FatChanceBellyDance Style. And so she's shared with us history so far of flamenco and this migration that influenced what we know now as flamenco. And then also we learned a little bit about music and rhythms and patterns. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about movements.
All right, so I want to share with you something that we were talking the other day when we were preparing our meeting, because this is super fun. And we have been like 2 weeks ago dancing again in the street. I love to dance in the street. I feel I've got gypsy blood in my veins because I really love it. It's challenging sometimes, but I love to see the expressions and the happiness that you share with the people that is just wandering around, and it's like wow. And our style, FatChanceBellyDance Style, is a beautiful style to do it because it's like improvisation everywhere. And the other day we were dancing in Segovia. We have a beautiful video from that day. And it happens again, DeAnna, where I told you before that people come, and here in Spain, of course, if you see someone dancing FatChanceBellyDance Style and you really don't know what is it, you connect it with flamenco. And the other day we were dancing, and 3 or 4 persons come and told us the same. No, is it flamenco? But it is not, because the clothes are not the same. But you got flowers, but you've got shawls, and and yeah, it has a lot of similarities. And we can start with the posture, for example. No, the posture in flamenco is very, very similar to FatChanceBellyDance Style posture. The only thing that I would differentiate is the bending of your knees, because in flamenco you are just straight. But the posture, the chest projection that you feel when you dance, no, like sharing your light, no, with the world, is this. I felt the same way dancing flamenco and dancing FatChanceBellyDance Style. It's amazing. Or the upright spine, no, going up to the universe, that feeling that you are gravitating somehow, but at the same time you've got heavy roots on the floor. So the posture is very similar. The arms, the movement of your arms. I remember that I used to have a teacher that always do well, they are classical, no, the movement or the path that you do with your arms are very similar to the classical dances as well. And I remember a teacher that always told us that you cannot pass the middle of your body, your axis, unless you want it. She was very serious when she was doing that. But the path of your arms is very similar. Of course, in flamenco nowadays you can find a lot of different shapes, but if we are in an improvisational style, we cannot do whatever we want because it's impossible to follow. It got no sense to us. But yeah, the arms are amazing. And of course, the movement of your hands, it's very similar. In flamenco, we do floreos, but we end it. I mean, from the fingers and we come back, fingers and we come back. And the most difficult, as a teacher, no, as the most difficult thing to the pupils that come for the very first time when you do a floreo here in Spain, more or less everyone have seen sevillanas or flamenco, and they always do the whole circle. So the most challenging at the beginning for my students, or what I have seen is the moment that you need to stop and go back.
Mhm.
that 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 circle, no, with your fingers and with your wrists. um, but yeah, the position is the same. And also there is something very similar, that it's a teacher always told us that you need to feel like a ball in your armpit.
Yeah, I've heard teachers say that as well. Yeah, just like
Yeah,
lifting from there.
yeah, and you always have to have here space, no, in your posture. So in our style in Fat Chance, we do the same way to make easier for them to see our signal, or just to have a great posture and don't do that, never, no. And it's
Mhm.
the same way, yeah. And also the attitude, no. I don't know how do you feel when you dance, but I have saw you dancing, and I think we feel the same. We feel like bigger and rude at the same time, but projecting, no. And
Yeah,
that feeling is the same, no, in flamenco. When you see the attitude and you see the projection that they've got, it's very, very similar. It's super different from belly dancers, no, it's another attitude different. I felt that when I find out the FatChanceBellyDance style, it was wow, this connect me with my roots in flamenco, because the attitude is the same, no? The way you express and the way you present yourself, and all your tribe of women and men dancing with you is like be proud of what you're doing, no? I'm not telling that the
yeah,
belly dancers are not proud, but the way you're expressing and the strong that you show, no, the strength that you show when you're dancing is
yeah,
beautiful, very similar, no?
yeah.
and
That's
and
one
of
of the things that drew me to the style as well, is just that upliftedness, because I just, yeah, the other styles, I did do other belly dance styles, and everything's for everybody. Somebody might have found that
beautiful
a little bit more easier or more connected with them, but for me it was just this feeling of like, wow, all of a sudden that just changed my whole attitude, my whole everything. And then moving from that space was very different from how it would go through everyday life. So yeah, the
yeah.
power that it brings in.
Yeah, and of course, another thing is that, as we said before, it's very strange see some flamenco dancer alone,
Mhm.
and it's very strange. It's not bad, but it's very strange see Fat Chance Belly Dance style dancer alone. For me, it got sense when you dance and when you share. Of course, a solo is beautiful, and I love it as well. But you know that what makes flamenco is the origins of sharing and learning one from each other, and these gazes and look at your eyes and tell stories and share. And I think flamenco and fat chance has this magic, both of them, because when you dance fat chance Bolivian style, it got sense if you've got your tribe. Even if you do a solo, you've got your tribe on your heart. But the magic and the energy that you can create with a group, it's something that connect absolutely flamenco and for chance. For me, it's like the cue, no? It's like wow, I cannot think about any other style where the community or the tribe is as important as in this style and in flamenco, no? A cuadro flamenco has a dancer, a percussionist, a guitar, and a singer. And a tribe has dancers, no? And it got sense when you do it together. And I think this is a beautiful message for the world that we are living in right now. It's beautiful, and it's even stronger if we do it together. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can we just take a moment for that? Because I feel that a lot. I feel that a lot, especially just today, but just that feeling of togetherness and that feeling of what unites us and brings us together and helps us support each other. And yeah, like you said, even when you're by yourself, you feel that in your heart. You feel that group, that tribe in your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. And I don't know if I'm forgetting something because, yeah, I feel a little bit emotional. Let me check my notes.
Okay. All right. And I'll check in with the comments. So if anybody has any questions. So I'm just going to say, oh, hello, Glenda and Maria. Oh, hi. Alina's here, of course. And I just want to take this moment to give a shout out to Alina, because the whole, like, having November be flamenco and finding Haima rather, and then finding Sarah Jimenez, like all of that has been Alina behind the scenes, just really saying like, I really want this whole month to be flamenco. And then I'm just like, yes, bring it on. And so for her to be in Spain and know, connected to the community and have access to connect with you, and everything has just been wonderful. So thank you so much, Alina, for bringing this richness and to our community. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Yay.
And Pamela is here. Eva. Yes. So Bint Zaida, I don't know, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but I can like see your other name in my head. So remind me about what that is. She says, I think also the chorus is similar to Fin de Fiesta en Patas por Bulerías,
Yeah.
where the dancer takes the lead and dances and the others are doing the palmas.
And sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, she says she thinks that the chorus, our
Yeah.
chorus in Fat
Yeah,
Chance
of course.
style.
Yeah, of course. We call it the cuadro flamenco. The cuadro is the chorus, the chorus, because they are clapping and others are playing and others are drumming, but they are behind the dancer as well. But there is a connection with the music, and when they are gonna start one part of the bulería and the other, there is a language in between the dancer and the musicians as well. Sarah is gonna tell you about that for sure, better than me. Yeah, and of course, it's like the chorus. Yeah, of course, sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and we were also talking about the steps or main steps that connect our minds. One that we see that kind of steps from fractions is like, wow, this is flamenco. No,
Yeah.
we can talk about some of them because I wrote down some of them, like the barrel turn.
Yes.
No, the magical barrel turn that I love.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So speaking specifically within Fat Chance Belly Dance Style, which movements, from your perspective, because I know there are some that, of course, the things that have a very hand floreo focused, might feel very flamenco. But then when we were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, you also shared your opinion about some other steps that I personally didn't even think about being having that feeling or that inspiration from flamenco, but I was like, oh yeah, and so I've added that to my notes. So yes, please share with us what you feel from Fat Chance has
Yeah,
that flamenco feel.
of course, the floreos and arm embellishment and posture and the attitude, of course, we have been talking about that before. But for example, the barrel turn is very, very similar to a quebrada, una vuelta quebrada, that we call it in flamenco. That's the name. But the thing is that in Fat Chance, we still in our posture, no, and we do that turn without moving our head. But in flamenco, you enter into the turn, but the arms are very, very similar. You can have a look at YouTube, quebrada and vuelta quebrada, and it's like it's a barrel turn. Or the pulls turn in your arms. That is like when you in flamenco maybe you do another different kind of movement, but you use a lot of time this kind of arms going down in flamenco. The Sara turn, no? Having this little twist on your torso, and then this movement on your arms, the rainbow with the flamenco, and of course Loco Camel from Debbie that I love her. Loco Camel is amazing. It's like pure flamenco, no? This and then that, and
Yes. Oh, so
and
excited about it.
and the strong arms, no? It's like playing with your arms and also with your torso, depending on the attitude that you want to express with that step. But it goes perfect with the flamenco music. And if we talk about rhythmic movements, we can talk about the Egyptian sevillana. The sevillana, when you do this way, you know, and do the cue, or the triangle step from the bimamak as well, and even the double back. The other day I was dancing, and it was like the double back. It goes great as well, no, because it's so similar to the rumba. No, when you dance rumba, that you move your hips so much. I was dancing in, and it was like, wow, it seems like a rumba, no, but with another feeling. And of course, the resamka comes from, I connect it, of course, with India, but it has like the gypsy style, no, of moving your hips and traveling at the same way, like without any shy. No, for me, it's like a step that has no shy, because you're moving your hips and going into the
Now
floor.
you're like, here I am, check it out.
Yay. Yeah, and the tutu arms. There are a lot of
Oh,
flamenco movement that you use this turn with your arms, no? Similar to the movement that we do with our tutu arms step as well. So, of course, any of the, because of the position of the posture of your body, almost any of the steps that we dance in our beautiful style, you can fusion it with flamenco music, because it goes in, I mean, it flows perfect. It's
yeah.
amazing, the posture. And of course you can add something else, or try to do reverse floreo and a floreo. And you can try to feel it, no? How do you feel dancing with flamenco music? But I strongly recommend it.
Yes,
Because
and with all of that, I want to take this opportunity to again thank you for so much for joining today in this podcast and for sharing so much of this beautiful information and inspiration with us all. But then you also created a flow that's all based off of fat chance movements, but you've used flamenco movements and the passion of the flamenco movements and music, and it's so beautiful. I'm very excited to release it. So it releases today in 30 minutes here on our YouTube channel. I know, but we're also going to be on FCBDU. We're offering it as a freebie for everybody, for our community, so that you can experience this beautiful footprints of flamenco in with the Fat Chance Belly Dance style. And I love the music that you picked to go with this, but also the tempo of the steps and the steps that you chose. And so when we're dancing slow, I was telling you earlier, sometimes I'll slow down one part of a turn and then speed something else up just to like play around with the music. And the way that you did that with some of the fast movements, especially, well, I don't want to give everything away, but I loved especially the way that you used the box step. I was like, wait, and I rewound, I pulled it back and I watched it again because I loved the timing that you took in the box step to fit in with the rhythms that you used in this and the music. It was just so beautiful.
oh, thanks so much, DeAnna. Thanks so much. Yeah, the box step. It's for me. I had it also in the list of flamenco steps, because it's very very similar also to the rumba. The way you dance in the rumba, you use a lot of your hips. And in the gypsy style, your hips are lower, and you're moving like in the gawasi step that I didn't do it. But yeah, you've got your pelvis down, connected to the floor, that it's very, very characteristic when you dance, for example, folklore from Egypt, no? As the agawasi, that you go down with your pelvis and with all your roots, no, on the floor,
Yeah.
or stand in the desert, no? Imagine myself over
Like
there.
to tie it back to the Indian classical dances, I'm saying in general, because I know there are 8 different styles, but like a choka, where the roots are the heaviness of the lower body, and then the upper body is very strong.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the election of the music for the flow, it was very difficult for me because yeah, I was thinking maybe we can try with a bulería, but bulería is an amalgama rhythm with different timing from 4 by 4, and finally I dance a bulería as well. In the flow you're gonna find a bulería, so if you find a strange or a weird rhythm, is a bulería, then 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 and I dance it with slow movements, because I thought that it was gonna be easier for us to connect, because we are on a screen, we are not dancing together in person. But and also I choose tango rhythm. The tango rhythm is the one that we were talking before, that is 4 by 4 rhythm, so it fits perfect with our seal patterns, and also it's a timing that have let you a space to dance and to express with your arms and with your body as well. So yeah, I choose this kind of rhythms, and then there is another music, another theme, another um, song that it's from Dorantes that I really love. It's a kind of classical and flamenco music at the same time. But anyway, I did a huge list trying to decide. The power of decision in my life, DeAnna. And yeah, I've got a full Spotify list with different rhythms that I'm gonna share with DeAnna, and if she wanna share with you, of course, it's free for you to experiment. Just play the music and dance and improv and try to feel what the sense, what are you feeling, no, with
Oh,
that. And of
yeah.
course, there are antique music, because there are antique music in the list, but also there is also like modern flamenco music with the same rhythms, but with modern instruments, not as classical as the one that I used to that I choose
Yes,
finally to.
and thank you so much, and I'll definitely be adding that to the show notes, as well as links to your website and all of your information, because I'm sure we'll want to watch the videos of you and your troupe dancing in the streets, as you were saying. I think it came across my social media and I saved it. So I'm excited to share it with everybody as well. So I'm just going to check in with the comments real fast before we start wrapping it up. Oh, Katarzyna's here. Hi, Kasia.
I
She
love
said,
her.
oh, no, I do too. She says, "Oh yes, the posture is as background that connects this style, but somehow I feel an FCBD is more same in each step, and in flamenco as buleria more street vibes. The posture could be like heavy." She says, and then she references the difference in the barrel turn. So
Yeah,
will
it's a good
flow.
material.
She's
Yeah.
also asking, would you dance FCBD also to garotin?
El
Garotin?
Garrotin is it's a kind or a different style. I mean, in flamenco, that you dance with a stick.
Oh,
Yeah,
Apollo.
yeah. I mean, you can dance it without it, but traditionally, you dance. Good job.
I'm remembering.
You did it now. You can dance it with a, or traditionally you dance it with a stick, and actually it is one of the choreographies that you need to do in the first course of flamenco when you do the exam. It's a garrotin from Cadiz.
Oh, okay.
Of course, you can use a lot of things in flamenco. You use sticks, you use palillos or castanets that
Hmm.
we call castañuela o palillo. That it's beautiful sound as well, and it is also a similarity with Fat Chance Belly Style because you are dancing with an instrument on your hands, and this is superpower. Well, at
Yeah.
the I know at the beginning you hate them. Most of the people is like, I'm dancing, I'm thinking about the step and what to do next, and my body and my partners. And do I need to think about the skills as well? We all have passed through that period, but it's amazing because I feel it at the same as when you dance flamenco at the beginning, you dance with the castanets, and it's like, oh my god, I'm thinking about the footwork, my body, and also another rhythm with the castanets, no? And it's at the beginning, it's a little bit hard, but at the end, when you're dancing, no, Fat Chance Belly Dance Style, I feel the rhythm on your hands support the tribe. I feel connect each other, and it's like a glue when you
Yeah.
don't cannot hear the music or you are outside in the street and you've got seals. It's like the stick, no, for all the tribe. And yeah, and we were talking about the elements that you can use. Of course, you can do manton, you can do abanico. Katarzyna did a great job with the abanico. I love it, her dialect. You can dance with skirt, of course, with bata de cola. There's another style that has like a long skirt. I don't know.
It's like a ruffle train that you have to like maneuver around. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's so hard. It's heavy and it's so hard. The work that you need to do with your legs is like, oh my god. And the way you need to move, it's amazing. It's dancing with some element, no, as well. And yeah, it's amazing how in flamenco you can use, or traditionally they use a lot of things to dance with. Of course, your footwork is also beautiful, um, and it's great, no, to try to use it also in our style, no, to just to try or to have fun, no, like we were talking about with the rhythms, no, let's play a rhythm and let's improve.
Yeah. See how it works.
Yeah, yeah, and it's beautiful, no? How many elements you can use in both styles as well, no?
Yeah, and I love that. I love the whole story about how different elements came from the migrations, the travels. I mean, in our first conversation that we had when you were saying about the fan and flamenco is from Cuba, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I would have never, it seems so far away, but then when you think about the history of the Spaniards going to the Americas and going back, it just, you're like, well, of course they're going to bring not just spices and food and resources back, they're going to bring arts and music and culture and dance.
Of course, and the fan is something that we use a lot here in Spain. Well, in a lot of cultures as well. But can you imagine Sevilla in summer? It's super super hot weather. No, it's and it's an element that it's very common here in Spain. No, used as the shawls that we from the folklore. All the costumes, the typical costume has beautiful shawls. What's the
Yeah,
pronunciation?
shawls,
Shawls. Shawls.
shawls.
So, of course, if you are dancing and you've got a you're gonna dance with it. Or if you
Yeah,
got a song because you are no, and you're gonna dance with it. You're gonna make it part of your dance because at the beginning they were not fixed steps. You just follow the music and do it, no? And there are a
yeah,
lot of people that do that is the way they teach, no, it's like they put the music and they start doing and then you do it.
yeah.
Now
You're wearing a skirt, and then all of a sudden you grab the skirt and you just start dancing, and that there you go.
that's it, and the stick the same, you start doing the rhythm because it's an instrument, you've got it on your hands, no, and then you play it, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. She says, Katarzyna also says, oh, and Maria said, oh, wait, sorry, let me back up. I'm like, so many comments that are coming in. Maria says, ole. And Katarzyna says, oh, wait, she already said that one. JNR Cameron says, loving this discussion. Olga Plisco is sending hearts. And Maria says, E. El Zapateo. Zapateo? Zapateo? And Katarzyna says, is a shawl not from Asia, like a piano shawl and a fan.
Yay, yay. It's true. And we were talking about that when she came to Spain this summer, last summer, because, I mean, for example, this one that I'm using is very typical also from Portugal and from Zamora, that it's a city near Portugal where my mother was born. And so we were thinking that the manton were from Spain because here we've got mantons in all the folkloric costumes, but it was not the origin, of course, and that's why they have this beautiful drawings and so on. It came from Asia, and when I realized it was used to cover the piano, it was like, oh my god, it is not from Spain. But as we've been talking, no, during our meeting, it's beautiful how to see how the cultures mix, no? And of course, we need to think, talking about costumes, we need to think that the gypsies were nomads. So when you are traveling, no, you've got, if you are cold, you take something and you put it on, or no. So the elements that you live with are the elements that you are going to dance with as well, because the dance is part of your life, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, and about the costume, I also wrote, and it's beautiful that when the people see the beautiful costume of Fat Chance, no, with a lot of coins and so on. I was reading long time ago that the gypsies were nomads, so they sew in the inner part of the skirts little pockets to have the money that they earn that dancing in the street, no, and to symbolize that, no, or to honor that, we sew it on our bra or in our belts and so on. But the real origin for that is that they earn money dancing on the streets and they need to take it with them. No,
Yeah.
the Ouled Nail, for example, I love that tribe and that. Yeah, from the north of Algeria. If you see their costumes, they've got a lot of coins. They earn their lives dancing in the streets, and they need to take this money with them. They cannot leave it there. So it's amazing how the traveling through all these countries and all the cultures mixed in our style and fits because everything is great in our style. It looks beautiful, no, the coins, balls, the elements, no. And
Yeah.
there is a curious thing because the other day when I was preparing the flow, I was thinking about the costume, what to wear and what not to wear. And there is a typical pattern, very connected with flamenco, that it's the polka dots. Have you
Yeah.
seen it? Pattern?
Mhm.
When you think of flamenco, you think of polka dots. Then the other day I wrote a beautiful story that tell that in a fabric, they were doing a pattern and they had a mistake, and suddenly the polka dot appeared in a fabric, no, so as it was a mistake, it was cheaper than any other pattern. And
Mm.
the people from Andalusia, it was a famous, it is still being so famous here in Spain, la Feria de Sevilla. The people with less money they bought this kind of pattern with polka dots because it was cheaper. But the rich people look at it and it was like, wow, it's amazing, it's super new, so it becomes fashionable.
Wow. It was practical, and now it's fashionable.
Yeah, but it was a mistake, So there are curious things, about flamenco, and yeah, of course, I've seen beautiful skirts with polka dots and cholis with polka dots that I really love. And other thing about our costume that has similarities with flamenco is the flowers. And
Mm.
it's beautiful because the flowers are super connected with the gypsies. And I was talking the other day with a friend. We were in the river because I live here in the mountains, and it was a sunny day. And it's, let's go there. And we were talking about that as the gypsies were nomads, and of course, everybody in that period needs to go to the river to have a bath or take water to their homes, no, or to their but we were talking about that the gypsies, when they wash their hairs, their long and beautiful hairs, after that, for have perfume on it, they use flowers, dry flowers.
Oh, wow.
After washing their heads, their hair, they start spreading the flowers on their hair to have perfume on it. So yeah, and of course, as they were very close to the nature, they were always using it also as medicine, as medicine. So the flowers and the herbs were very connected with that tradition, and maybe that's why in the flamenco they always have like flower in here upright. No, in our style we've got it here.
We just put them everywhere. However we feel beautiful, we put them.
Yeah, but it could be the reason why the flamenco uses the flowers, no?
Yeah. That's
It's
again what started something that might be practical just ended up being more fashionable or just beautiful, and people feel beautiful, so they wore it.
sure.
Amazing, amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay. So wow, we have covered so much.
Yeah.
I want to just do like a really quick rundown for people that joined in later. I want to encourage you to go back and watch the whole thing. You can even listen to us on Spotify, play us at any point in time, just while you're washing the dishes, and just absorb so much that we went over, because we talked about the flamenco history and the migration patterns and the different theories of how flamenco came to the southern part of Spain. We talked about music and patterns of music and costuming and the movements within Fat Chance Belly Dance Style that we can really see the footprints of flamenco shine through. And then so many more tidbits and information about flamenco in general and costuming and elements. And it's just been such an amazing hour with you. Thank you so much for your time. We're always wanting to learn more and more about the things that influence our style, because these are the ways that we can learn more about music and learn more about patterns and learn more about our own dance history and our own the things that maybe why we feel connected to certain areas or certain aspects of why we dance. I want to take this moment to let everybody know we have a live workshop next Friday, November 15th. So if you're joining us live, if you're joining us later after November 15th, it's available on FCBDU. It's a live workshop with Sarah Jimenez. She is an amazing flamenco dancer in Spain, and we're really, really excited to have her be a part of our FCBDU team and sharing her love of flamenco. So please, everybody, join in on that. It's available, of course, for our members. Thank you, members, so much, because without you, we would not be able to do all of these things that we're doing for the community. But if you're not a member, it's okay. We forgive you, but you can also purchase that workshop individually. So feel free to do that. We'll be sharing more information in our newsletter and on our social media sites. And of course, we'll add everything to the notes in the show notes for this podcast episode. So Haima, I want to kind of close out our podcast today. And if you have any kind of advice for people that want to add in a little bit of the power of flamenco into their Fat Chance Belly Dance Style, where may they start?
of course, with our date on 15. This is very important. But of course, I think taking some flamenco class is amazing. Just as a dancer, any other style that can enrich your own dance, for me, it's beautiful. But of course, flamenco has a lot of palos and a lot of styles and a lot of teachers. And of course, you can take some flamenco classes to enrich your posture and to check this posture and then translate or transfer it to the style. And of course, uh, another tip or idea to enrich your practice is using different rhythms. In flamenco, for example, let's do a tangos or a rumba 4x4 at the beginning, and then you can start playing with different kind of rhythms just to see what happens, like a buleria or no any rhythm that you love. If you're listening to flamenco music, and just to have fun with different rhythms, and of course working on your floreos both sides, or trying to play around with what's flamenco for you and what's fat chance, and try to mix it in the center of your heart.
Oh, that's so beautiful. In the center of mix it in the center of your heart. Yes. So very, very beautiful. And I want to kind of close out today also to just really recognize how beautiful it is that flamenco has been inspired by, so many different countries, so many different cultures, this migration pattern of people moving from India all throughout North Africa and or Europe and Turkey, and then also from the Americas, from Cuba, from South America, from North America, and really coming together in this beautiful style that you can clearly see all of these elements if you know where to look, which now we know a little more of where to look. And like Fat Chance Belly Dance Style, the merging of these different influences just really brings us together as a community, as a world. It unites us through dance. And of course, in a world where we can feel very separated and with all of these labels on everything, those are, of course, have their purpose, but to be able to let go of all of that and come together with just this beautiful melting pot and merging of this inspiration to make something that we can all find a little bit of ourselves in is truly, truly beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you for this beautiful afternoon together. And I love how you finish. So I cannot add anything else. Just action dance with each other.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone who joined us here on YouTube. And again, this will be out on Spotify. So if you loved this episode, tell everybody because we want everybody to have access to it. Subscribe, share, like all of the buttons down there. And join us in December. We'll be back for another episode here on FCBDU. And thank you all so very much. Thank you, Haima. I'm excited to dance with you in your flow shortly.
Yay, thank you. I hope you do it. Send it to me.
I will. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.